Hello, hello, everyone. Mary Grace here, the owner and CEO of Social Register Network. And today we're going to do a one on one with Social Register members. And I have Mr. Chef Dennis Hicks. I always call him Chef Dennis because that is, to me, that's your title.
That's right.
um,
There's doctors and there's me.
it is. It is. And you guys are in for a treat. So, Chef Dennis and I have been friends and business friends for the past couple of years, just to be able to see his growth in his company. And then he watched my journey. Um, Whenever we get on a call, it's always like an hour or two because we have a lot to say and share.
Yes.
So you guys get to know Mr. Chef Dennis today. So, Chef Dennis, please tell everybody the name of your business, and then we're gonna get into some tea behind Chef Dennis and why he got started. So tell them about your business and the name of it.
Well, the name of the business is Exclusive Chefs, where we bring elegant cuisine exclusively to you.
Ooh.
Uh, so you can write that down. And I've had the business since 2011. I opened up in 2011 as a sole proprietor, and then became incorporated in 2015.
Oh wow, wow. I've
Yes.
known you for a long time though, because I think when I started with Social Register was about 10 years ago. Yeah, I think I've known you for maybe 5 or 6 years.
Yes.
Yes.
You had
Yeah.
met me just as I turned that corner,
Yes.
and was looking for a place for people to find out who I was. Even though the name said Exclusive Chefs, I didn't want to be that exclusive.
Well, I'm excited. I'm so grateful that our paths have crossed because you're an amazing human being. Chef Dennis is actually, anytime you come to our events where we have a whole spread of food and amazing spread of food, that is Chef Dennis and his team. That is him who comes in and his team. They set that all up for us. And usually we do something more themed out, which is what I love about my exclusive chefs. We do things that are fun.
We are theatrically driven for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. So tell us, how did you get started and why? Why did you make the shift? Like, tell them a little bit about your background. Obviously, you were a chef, but what made you want to start your own?
Well, and I got to say, I really appreciate you inviting me in on this. I don't get to talk about myself very much, and so enough about me. Let's talk about me.
Let's go.
So it means a lot. I really appreciate it, and I love Social Register. So this opportunity has been something I've been waiting all week for.
Yeah.
And when I decided to get into the culinary field, I I lived in a small town in Texas, and there was really nothing there. We had a paper mill and 35,000 people. It was
Wow.
very small, and I just knew that I was not going to make anything of any true significance of myself if I didn't get out of that town and start living out to what I wanted to do. And I enjoyed cooking. I enjoyed cooking with my mom and my grandmother in the kitchen. We made everything from scratch, or they did, and I watched.
Mhm.
But it was very intriguing to see that creativity because originally I wanted to be an architect. I wanted to do buildings and homes. I loved the outdoors, and I wanted to try, and I was always intrigued by the architects that brought the indoors or the outdoors indoors. Read an article. I'm not thinking of the man's name now, but he had built a modern luxury art deco home in the middle of the woods in Oregon, and so he built the home around the trees within the forest and over a brook, and it was
Wow.
all So I mean, there was real. I don't know how the place never stayed humid, but there was a brook that ran through it that was through the forest, the trees and everything. They built around it to ensure that they maintained the landscape. It was just incredibly artistic to see that come to life, and I was like, that's what I
Mm.
want to do. But it turned out not my thing, and I decided to get into food, where I could express that through food. I could put my artistic values and an art into that. So that's what I did. I joined the military to get out of town. I got the GI Bill, and even in the military, I worked with food. They wanted me to be a mechanic, so probably never see me change. But I was like, that's not what I want to do. And so I got into doing food and being the incredibly mindful and exceptional chef that I am. Okay, my first week on board SS America, station in Norfolk, Virginia, I almost cut my finger off.
Oh my gosh.
So I was, they had to strip back, and I was not able to touch food for the next 6 months. Yay,
Wow.
yay. So
Yeah.
in that time, I had a lot of time to figure out what I wanted to do.
Mhm.
So, and they did not have much hope in me. They're like, it took him less than a week to injure himself. So I didn't get a medal or nothing for that. But they put me in the bake shop because they're like, well, he's working with bread. He can't cut himself now. So I started doing that, decorating cakes and things. And I got an opportunity to do a cake for the Admiral of the Seventh Fleet.
Oh,
And
wow.
in the military, it's very, it's yellow cake, yellow cake, chocolate cake. And I
Mhm.
got so sick of making that, I made a red velvet cake.
Mm.
Just so happened to be his favorite cake. So he immediately had me brought up to the Admiral's Mess, where I finished out my career working with him as his private chef.
Oh, wow. How
Yeah,
incredible.
that was pretty cool.
All because of your red velvet cake.
All because of red velvet.
Yeah.
Took a chance. I got scolded and harassed quite a bit from the senior leaders in downstairs where I work, because the aircraft carrier has 5,000 men on it. It's a moving city.
Mhm.
And I worked in the bake shop that did all the baking and breads and everything for the entire ship. So it's a big job, and there's a lot that goes on with it. And so when they have you down there, they spend a lot of time training me, only to lose me because I wouldn't listen to them and I broke protocol and I sent that cake up. But yeah, that was what I did. And so I spent the rest of my time with him,
Mhm.
working with him throughout the remainder of my career, which is about 3 years into it. So, but I went to college. I went to CIA,
Mhm.
not the one with the guns and the spies. This was the Culinary Institute of America
Mhm.
in Hyde Park, New York. They since now have one, Greystone, here in California. But I went to Hyde Park, New York, and trained there. Graduated. I wasn't top of the class, but I wasn't at the bottom either. So it was okay. I did all right. And then I just set out on my journey. I wanted to work with as many people as I possibly could. I traveled around the country working for chefs because of their skill sets. Nobody would know. They're not the kind of chefs that wanted their face on magazines and the publicity. They were just incredible chefs that I heard of that, I was searching.
Mhm.
And wound up, building a really strong career for myself at a very young age. I was in Dallas, Texas, and I was working at the Belo Mansion. The Belo Mansion is on the National Register. There's only two, and the Belo Mansion is one of them. It used to be an old plantation back in the 1800s.
Mhm.
It was sold to a mortuary, and in the Prohibition days, and like when they had all the bank robbers and stuff like that. Yeah, see, yeah. So,
Yeah.
so when all that was going on, so Bonnie and Clyde, when they were doing their run, they sent the Texas Rangers after them and some agents. When they caught up with them and killed him, they brought him into town. Clyde's body was viewed at that mortuary. So I had to go down to the basement to pick up props for weddings and stuff. Very creepy place at night.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
It was pretty intense. But I did Ellie's birthday party there. We tinted the entire back parking lot because the building is it's just an old plantation home, 3 stories,
Mhm.
completely preserved, except for the kitchen that was in the back. But it was an amazing facility. Got to meet and do a lot of things there. Worked at the Symphony Center, and with this, I was working for a company that at the time were grooming me to go back east. They wanted to be a regional corporate chef for their company and work in hotels. I got a call to come to Vegas.
Mm.
And I was like, oh, let's see. North Carolina, Vegas, North Carolina. I'll go to Vegas. And I was a corporate chef by the time I just turned 30. I was the youngest corporate chef in America.
Wow.
So
Yes, because in that industry, it is a tough one. It's a tough
oh,
one to move up in that industry.
I got it because the food and beverage director knew me and he wanted me out here badly and I wasn't going to take the job. And he's like, I will give you this position and I'll give you the title and stuff like that. And I didn't make the kind of money that corporate chefs made because he knew me. So, but I did really well. And I was still responsible for 2,000 people. We had 4 casinos through 3 different states. And it was a huge job. It was incredibly great learning experience. I opened up their flagship casino hotel here. And then I went out to the riverboats and helped them expand the food and beverage industry departments that they had at the riverboats in Council Bluffs, Iowa, and down in Mississippi. But it just came a point where I knew in my career I was going to have to make a decision.
Yeah.
And it was like, do I stay as a chef, or do I go to the front and start learning that aspect of what does it mean to be a restaurant manager, beverage? I still didn't know a lot about liquors and wines at that time. My whole life was surrounded by food. I always knew I was going to open up a business. I didn't know what it was going to be, but I knew I wanted to be my own boss. Mm. I never felt like that, you cannot make your dreams come true if you're living somebody else's,
Uh-huh.
So, yep. And I was making people a lot of money. I'm like, oh, I got it in the bag, So I left and I traveled up and down the strip for a while. I learned a lot about the front of the house and eventually decided to open up my own company out of pure frustration with our industry. Mm-hmm. And so I did. And I was like, I'm making all these people money. And I said, I'm the guy making the decisions. And that's like, the money is going to roll in. It's just going to come rolling. We're not going to be able to count it. We're going to have to hire people just to count the money. Mm-hmm. And I said, I'm going to be everywhere. I said, I see these people on TV. They got no personality. It's me. It's me. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be famous. And so 10 years later, I am still trying to figure out where that money went. And but I am rather, well, maybe I'm more infamous than famous. I should say at this point.
I think you're pretty famous. You're pretty famous.
I got a face for radio, so.
No.
So that's how it kind of started. It really started with frustration, just knowing that the industry there was just complacency. Nobody was, with all the cooking shows and all the celebrity chefs and everything that was going on out there. People were being led astray. It's not easy doing what we do. But there is a huge, if you love it and you have a passion for it, there is a real career for you. But you have to give up so much. Before I met my wife, dating was unheard of because I was never home. I was always either in some other state or I was working hours that were ungodly. I go in at 8 o'clock in the morning. It's 2 o'clock in the morning where you at. So I never got any warm relationship building at that point. Yeah. So I was very much a loner until I met my wife, and she's just phenomenal. She worked crazy shifts and crazy hours too, and she's not in my industry. A lot of us do. She's in the medical industry, so we found a way to make it work, and we've been together now for 20 years. Wow! And helped me, build my company the way it is. It would not be where it is today without the assistance that I had through my team, the people who started it, the ones who've come along with me with the journey, and the support and love that I got from my wife and family to support me through this, because I had a good job. I was making good money and I was about to go, I don't need that. I'm going to start this job. Well, do you have any clients? No. I do not. But they're going to come. They're going to come. They're going to know me and they're going to come, So I started with one client and I borrowed $1,000 from my wife. And started the company. And we just went out there and started. I was just relentless. Would not stop letting people know that I'm here
Yep.
and I can make anything that you want. It doesn't matter whether you want to have, Indian cuisine, or you want to have Asian Polynesian fusion, or some good old barbecue. It did not matter to me. I was going to cook it, and I was going to, change your life. And as we've grown through the years, we've really created the essence of Exclusive Chefs, which is creating experiences, making those lifelong experiences that you have come to life. Everybody has the dream wedding, or a corporation is getting ready to do a merger, and they want these things to go off perfectly. And we are the asset, the amenity that pervades that. If you're a company that's looking to partner with another organization, or you've got huge clients that come in once a year and you want to entertain them and show them, look, this is the company you need to be with, you can't serve them, a hot dog or a sandwich. You
No.
have to put on the Ritz.
Yes.
And we completely purvey that out there. But then we also are very humble too. All of myself included, all have humble beginnings. None of us came from money. We all came from a love of food, generally started from our families, grandmas and moms, and built an incredible career around just a passion for doing this.
Yeah.
But we're all a bunch of characters, and this in this play of life. That
You guys are. I love your whole team. All of them are always very welcoming, always smiling. And I love that about anyone who's smiling. I don't care. They don't have to say anything, and just smiling to me is just welcoming, right? And all of your team is very, very welcoming. One thing I do want to touch on with Chef Dennis and Exclusive Chefs is what I've noticed that is different about your team and your company is it's not only the food. I feel like it's an experience. It's a whole experience that you put on. Like, you don't just make the food that we want. Things are detailed. Like, I remember this one time, I think it was Halloween. There was I think it was a drink. And it was like in a little cup like this. And then there was a syringe that we had to squeeze and then drink it. It wasn't alcohol. I don't remember. I don't think it was alcohol.
tea.
It was tea. See? Yeah.
Yes,
But
yes.
I know I'm not doing the best at describing it. But I could probably pop some photos in here once we post this. But you'll see exactly what I mean. But everything you and your team puts together is an experience. It's not just, hey, I want Filipino food. Hey, I want Indian food. There's an experience with it. Even the way you dress things up. And then one thing I love about you is whenever you and I come together to do an event, you're like, okay, well, what is the flow? Like, what are people going to be doing? What is the theme? Do we want them to have like bite size? It's a whole plan. It's not just coming there to bring the food.
I do brains with a lot of questions.
You do. And then he even brings decor and dresses it to the nines. So I want people to know that you're not just a chef. You're not just any other, I don't like using this word, but other people would say like a catering, like when you would look it up online and you would look it up in the yellow pages when we used to have it. That's where they would look, right, for food, to serve their parties or whatnot, or their corporate events. And I don't see you in that class. Obviously, I see you more elevated than that. I have a lot of members who love you, and you've actually came to their home and done like a private chef. What do you call it? A private dinner for their husband and wife. Like, that's amazing. So I want you to share what are those different offers, that different things you do, just like that. So not a lot of people know that you'll come out and do a private dinner and host it for like a husband and wife or a special occasion or whatnot.
You're right. I mean, because of classification, we get classified as a caterer.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, when you get to the bare bones of it, I mean, that's what we do. We cater events. But when you understand the concepts of it, I have developed a full-blown hospitality management company. So we manage different divisions throughout the work that we do. So like the dinner that you're talking about, that's a private chef service where we'll come to your home and we'll prepare the meal. We will dress the table. complete with linen and centerpieces. And if you want entertainment, we can have a violinist, or anything that you want entertainment wise. We have everything from a simple 2 or 3 course meal to 7 courses with wine pairings. If you want to theme it, we did one a few years back. It was a Game of Thrones, when that was really huge.
Oh, wow.
The whole Game of Thrones theme. We had actors come in and act out the Red Wedding. We gave everybody. yeah, I know. So
That's cool.
it was pretty intense. One of our chefs is also an artist. Well, we're all artists, but he also works with sculpting. So he sculpted dragon eggs, and then we had sculpted the eggs ourselves and made them. We painted them, and we prevented them with their own scrolls, their birthing scrolls. So you can name your own dragon, and you get your own dragon egg. It was served in this jewel box, and so that was a parting gift that we gave for everybody at the table. What we did not expect was that they were going to dress up. So they did. I mean, we saw people in like green face paint, and there was
Oh, wow.
and we had it was very intense. There was some it was a very incredible party that people just got into. And it just we did not ask them to do that. We did not tell them to do that. We just told them that this is the kind of food that we're going to be serving, and we kind of themed it around that. The next thing I know, that people showed up in costumes. So it was incredible event. And that's what we portray to people. That's what I meant by, the complacency. People tend to get in front of you, and they're like, look, we're caterers. And there are some great catering companies out here with some incredible chefs. I don't want to downplay that. Some of them I've even worked with and learned things from. So, it's not that. It's just that what I do is different, because I bring, in my opinion, a more warming feel to what you're doing. If you're going to create an experience, then you have to know the individual. So I do ask a lot of questions, because every detail counts in order to bring your experience to life. So it's not just a matter of going, how many people do you have? Okay, here's this option and here's this option. Choose which one you want. Get back to me, and we'll work it out for you. I have not cooked in the last 10 years the same meal twice, because every meal is different.
Yep.
Your tastes are going to be much different than someone else's taste. So I find out what it is that you want to eat, regardless of whether it's an hors d'oeuvre party, with appetizers and cocktails, or it's going to be a dinner party where you're going to have some of your close friends coming by. Everybody just has different things they enjoy eating. That's why we cook regional cuisine, meaning that no matter what region of the world that you want to eat the food from, we will prepare it for you. Now, that doesn't mean that I know everything, as I sure don't. But I do have chefs that all specialize in certain aspects of food, and they come together to pull these events off. We have done a German Asian fusion. Did not expect it. I was like, I don't know how we're even going to do that, but these guys did. So my chefs came together, and they formulated a menu, and it was very interesting to see the take on the flavors, the textures, the colors, and how they were going to play off of each other. Things that you would never think would go together. I was like, that's pretty tasty. So that, they really put a lot of effort into each and every one of those. And that takes time. I mean, I usually spend about an hour, if not longer, with my clientele to find out what it is they want to eat, what they want it to look like, and what they feel the flow is going to be, so that I can reach every single moment, from the moment that our guests come in, they come down to welcome drink, to their first bite, to their last bite, to the flaming coffees, whatever they want. They could be over the top, or it could be very simple and basic. We're not pretentious that way. I mean, I have no problem doing hamburgers and hot dogs. I do concession work for Sunset Anthem for comedy night. That's hot peanuts, popcorn, and booze. So I mean, it just doesn't matter to me. For me, it's about the event. It's about sharing those little life experiences. We just blogged. If you go to my website, you'll see blogs every month about things I theme out. Try to let you peek behind the curtain, see a little bit about me and my history, or one of my featured chefs, or one of my event designers, sharing their personal experiences, and having those momentous moments in your life that are monumental. It could be a renewal of vows, where
Mhm.
you got married years and years and years ago, and now your kids are grown. Maybe you have grandchildren, and you're going to renew your vows, and you want to recreate that experience, from something that could have been 40 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's my
It's
team.
about the experience with you. I feel like it encompasses an experience, like you said, from the time that your guests walk in through the door until they go home. You cover all bases of that event. Even with
Absolutely.
me, like we've had simple things like, Chef Dennis, I don't care what you make. Like, I just want this. And then you come in and I'm like, what in the world did he do? Like he has them in little Chinese takeout boxes, and then he had like Caesar salad on a stick, and my son's like, this is amazing, and it's Caesar salad, and I'm like, yeah, he's amazing. Like
Out on a
you
stick.
go all out. And it's very unique. Like I said, every time you and I do an event, I'm just like, I don't, whatever you want to do, this is the budget, this is what we want, this is how many people, but I trust you. So you always come up with something and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. I don't want to touch it.
You bring up a good point. You said something about trust, and that's what we're
Mhm.
trying to build. If I can build trust in that amount of time, then no matter what I do, it's going to go well because I've taken the time to learn you, your wants, your likes, your dislikes, which is so paramount. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, you designed it. It's like you get to be a part of it without having to do all the heavy lifting.
And
So
so many people rave about you. All the events we've done, they're like, Mary Grace, this is so, they thank me obviously because they think I put it together. And they're like, thank you so much. And the tacos at the event that we had, tacos, but they were not just tacos. Like people were raving about that for weeks. Um, and I'm like, yes, that's Chef Dennis. Let me go take you over there. Let me go introduce you personally. So again, I believe it's the experience, and I'm all about the experience. And again, I trust you, and I want people to know that you're not just catering. You're absolutely unique and exclusive. So you have the right word in your the name of your business.
we do try to cover that. I mean, that's why the private chefs, that's your 2 to 20 people.
Mhm,
Catering services when you're talking about 30 to 2,000,
mhm,
and we've done that. When you look at that, we've gone into hospitality management where we've gone in and consulted with companies that are they're stagnant, they're in trouble, especially now through the pandemic. There's a lot of my colleagues didn't make it through it, and some of them are struggling right now to get through it, and they need assistance. They need a second pair of eyes to come in and help them, and we're able to come in because I have enough team members with
mhm.
a wide range of experience. We're talking almost 100 years of experience just in my top leadership that brings something to the table that you would never even considered before. It could be as simple as just need to rewrite your menu. It's dated, or you know what, you need to upgrade this piece of equipment and you'll do 3 times the amount of work, those type of things. And it's great feeling to know that we can go in and help people like that. And we've gotten into, it's just an inevitable fact that taxes and death is just part of who we are. And we do bereavement services, they're very specialized. It's meant to be very much in the sense that when you bring people together to celebrate someone's life and passing, that it is held with the utmost respect. And it's not. I mean, some people do want to party, and we have no problem partying. But a
Mhm.
lot of them, they just want to be able to take care of the people and give them something while they're there. A lot of people are very inconsolable, and they just listen, just give me something. So we're very straightforward when it comes to that. It's not much of a lot of the fluff that you typically see because they're just looking to serve their people. And our bereavement services are very specifically catered to that type of service because we understand, we've all experienced it. Each one of my people at some point in time, it's happened. And with the pandemic, it's happened a lot. And it's just something that's there. And if I know that my company can come in and warm them a little bit and console them with some great food and some respectful service, that to ease some of their tension and some of the stress that they're going through, it's a big thing for me. Um, and then we have also expanded into more of the what I like to call moderate luxury defined. Now, this is where we talk about all the fun amenities and things that you speak of. When it comes to
Mhm.
props and entertainment, we have private jets that we service with hospitality attendants and chefs. We have limousines that will come pick you up. We have beautiful mansions. We just acquired our most recent one that we're going to be promoting in November. It is 25,000 square feet
Mhm.
of mansion.
Yeah,
And
imagine.
it has all the bells and
A lay of
whistles.
the land, like,
Yes, it
you can
does.
do whatever you want.
Very much so. It has this whole Tuscan villa feel to it. And
Mhm.
we have some that have nightclubs in them. We
Yeah.
have some that has murals on the wall from Star Wars.
Mhm.
One of them still has it's a music theater. There's a rapper that came into town and he built his studio down there. So the studio is a bedroom now, but it's got the glass and it's got the
Yeah.
foam on the walls and everything. And some of the, some they left some of like the mics and everything. They kept it kind of like that
Mhm.
feel to let you know that you're still in a studio. So it doesn't matter which direction you want to go with it. We have one that people like to call the Harry Potter house because of all the easels and stuff that it's got a lot of points and everything to it. Um, and so that this town is amazing for that type of stuff, and I
Mhm.
have been fortunate to know people like yourself that see us, know that we're just a little different, we're just a little bit more of the cutting edge, a little off center that fits with what they want to have
Mhm.
there. And I've been very, very humbled to be associated with those type of people, to know that they trust me enough to allow me to come into these mansions and service people because they know I'm going to take care of it
Yeah.
as much as they would take care of it. I treat it like my own, and every party is that way.
Yeah. Well, the holidays are coming up. So if anyone who's tuning in, whether you're catching the replay, reach out to Chef Dennis and my exclusive chefs, because as you can tell, you can plan out a whole party with his team, or if you just want them to come into your home or your business, do I know a lot of companies like to do something for their team, do something special like a holiday party. Definitely reach out to Chef Dennis. So in all of my interviews one-on-one with Social Register members, because we are a networking organization, I like to ask, so you've been in business for what, 16 years, about 16 years,
10
2005,
years,
right?
10 years since
10
2011.
years. Oh, I thought it was 2005. Is my math wrong?
I was still cooking then.
Oh, okay. That's okay. But throughout those years, you've been networking with not just with Social Register, but with other organizations and through the community and the city. Why is it important for the growth of you as a chef, but also for the business? Why is it important for you to network?
Well, I got slightly depressed during COVID when it was at its worst. Everybody's
Mhm.
locked down. Everybody's zooming. There was no human contact, and I come from a very small southern town. We're very touchy feely, huggy kind of people,
Mhm.
and my job is designed about warmth,
Yeah.
and I couldn't do that. We had to turn to doing virtual cooking classes and things like that, and it was fun and it was exciting, but I missed it. When you want to go network with people, you want to make a connection. And, that doesn't mean the high pitched sale, in my opinion. It's about getting to know the other person, regardless of whether you're actually going to do work with them or not. Because that person's out there, especially when it comes to Social Register. It's one of the reasons why I joined this organization, is that the people that you're talking to, those are the decision makers. These are the people that are leading their field. They have spent time and money educating themselves, and they're out there getting it done. They are entrepreneurs in their own rights, and to be able to share those experiences. Just because I'm a chef, I still have the same problems, woes, and
Mhm.
celebrations that someone who is a broker for a real estate firm. We still have the same problems. And I learned a lot from that. And for me, I like the networking aspect of it because you get to have that human interaction, that one-on-one, knowing what this person's about, not just from a business standpoint, but from a personal standpoint. You really get to know them. And your networking style the way that you have designed for people to be interactive when they come to your networking events, it's not some meet and greet, where it's like, oh, I'll have a glass of wine and some cheese, and here's my card, and my girl will get your girl, and we'll do lunch. you know,
No, please no.
they got great giveaways though. I was at the last one. There was some cool stuff. But yeah, I sat down and talked with a social media representative that you had there, a young kid, gung ho, never sleeps, talks a mile a minute, and I already have a social media person that I deal with, and I love her to death, and she does amazing work, and we're learning about each other and our quirks and stuff to get my brand proper.
Mhm.
But I sat there and listened to him, and he wasn't trying to sell me anything. He was sharing his work and the kind of stuff that he does. And I was just intrigued by it. And, to the point where I was like, oh, I got to keep mingling because I've been here for 5 minutes. It's like, but everybody that comes there, that's the feel for it. You really get locked in. It doesn't seem to, people know each other, but there's not these click bases where people are huddled up in this one group over here. Here's all the financial advisors,
Yeah.
here's all the attorneys.
Oh, I have to agree with you. That is
Yeah.
one thing I love about our events compared to any other is there's no clicks. Like you and I know each other, and if we see each other at an event, we're like huggy, and then we're like, hi, okay, and then we go and meet other people, or we introduce each other to the other people that maybe we met or know at the event. And that's one thing I've noticed that's different within our organization.
Your biggest strength, I don't know if you people know this or not, but you need to know that. Okay. When you go to these events, there could be 20 people there. There could be 75 people there. She knows everyone that's in that room, and she knows who showed up and who didn't. Because I've approached you and go, this was the coolest thing that I thought. Look, I need to talk to a financial broker. I need to go get a loan, and I'm looking for a piece of equipment, and I need to find somebody. And they're like, let me introduce you to this person. And she's running me through the room, and introducing me to the person that I'm looking for, or puts me in contact. If they're not there, that is what I'm talking about. It's true customer service and knowing each person. If you were just trying to get membership, you wouldn't know what half of those people do. You're just glad that they're in the door. Somebody dropped $1, and I see that all the time.
Wow.
Yeah. You know what I mean? I see this like, are they drinking all my wine? And, I've seen it. Each and everybody by name, who they are, what they do, and even personal stuff about them. And that is truly the difference between yourself and these other organizations that are out there. It's the way that you go about it, how you've done it. And I'm telling you, put your money where your mouth is. Go to one of these other groups, okay, and test them. Who's that person? I don't know. I think he came with so and so. But don't ask Mary Grace that because
Don't ask Mary Grace that.
you will get full bios. I'm telling, and she knows.
I'm a stalker. Is that what you're trying to say? No. But thank you. Thank you so much, Chef Dennis, for saying that. But it's truly a passion of mine. Like I love getting to know our members and getting to know anyone, whether you're a member or not. And that's why Chef Dennis and I, when we get on a call, we have such a hard time getting off the call because we're talking about not only just business, but everything else, family, personal, everything. And that's really what networking is about. It's about building that relationship. You want to be friends with your community, right? And your network. You want to be friends first. And then eventually the business will come. All the business.
Who says that? Like I really hate him, but he's my no, I love him.
I don't like, but I love his business, but I hate him. Like, what? Who says that? You're right. But thank you so much, Chef Dennis, for coming on with me today and just sharing with the business community how unique you are. I really wanted people to know that because there is a clear, distinct difference between you. I know it's classified as catering, but to me, there's a clear distinctive difference, obviously. And I tell you that all the time. So thank you so much. If you, holidays are coming up, whether it's the holidays or not, I believe you should go with my exclusive chefs. But Chef, tell them your contact information. And then what I'll do is I'll put it into the description box. So if you want to give them your website, your Facebook, Instagram, email, whatever you'd like, this is your time.
Well, people affectionately know me as the GOAT, the greatest of all time.
You're breaking up now. Now your internet's breaking up.
Oh,
Wow.
yes, yours is going to fail. To get a hold of me, you can go to my website. It is myexclusivechefs.com. That website will take you to any of my social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, any of those kind of things that you want to do to look at some of the key elements of some of the events we've done. My Facebook has all the albums in there, so you can see everything from Shipwrecked Halloweens to Steampunk Christmas.
Mhm.
All these theatrical type events that we do, and on a modest budget. It doesn't matter to me. But those are the best ways to reach me. And if you're out there and you're a part of the hospitality industry, if you go to Prism Events, that's a global events company. They're the ones who actually nominated me as the top 100 food and beverage leader for 21. Yep. And I was actually nominated and won again. So I'm a two-timer.
Wow.
I get to get the award again next year for the innovation and the work that we've done within the industry in the field, taking the time to spend with people. So please, by all means, contact me at myexclusivechefs.com, or you can reach me at dennis@exclusivechefslv.com.
Perfect. I will put all of that information in the description box so you guys have it. But before we go, I wanted to share some comments that are coming through. So this one is from Dan Morrell. He is our chapter president for Las Vegas. He said, Chef Dennis is the man, one of the best chefs in Vegas, because you are.
And you handsome, handsome devil.
So we had a lot of people tuning in today. If you are catching the replay, please just hashtag replay. And if you have any questions for Chef Dennis, please put them in the comments, because I could always get those comments to him. If you're tuning in from the members circle, Chef Dennis is also in, obviously, our membership. So he'll be able to see those questions. All right. Well, Chef Dennis, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm not tuning in, but coming on today and sharing more about you.
I was tuned in. I promise.
I was tuning in. And thank you so much for everybody for tuning in today. We do this one-on-one with our social register members to allow for our business community and everyone nationwide to find out more about our members and what our entrepreneurs are doing for their community, how they got started, why they got started. Sometimes we even talk about their journey, the ups and downs, which I believe is the tea. Like, that's what we should be sharing, because it's not all rainbows and roses, right, Chef Dennis? It's not. We all, like Chef Dennis said, when he came out, the money was supposed to be rolling. We're supposed to have people out here paying, like counting our money.
They've been holding back.
Not always like that right away.
No, it is not.
Yeah. So again, thank you so much for tuning with us. I will see you next week with another social register member. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.